Happy Father's Day, everybody. Welcome back to another Ready List video. I hope you all have had a great Father's Day so far and a great weekend. I'm just going to be going through my watch list going into tomorrow and a few groups or ETFs that are really catching my eye. I will say from scanning, I'm seeing a whole lot of amazing setups. Like there are some high quality setups right now. And I'm seeing also like from weekly scanning, I'm seeing a ton of inside weeks from that short week we had last week. So a lot of stuff just kind of been pulling back, consolidating, getting pretty tight. Super interesting, right? We've had some digestion in the market recently as far as like your S&P 500 and the indexes in general. And I think it's been very healthy and they look great. And yeah, like the pullbacks on a lot of names are getting bought up, and your leading names are just continuing higher from pullbacks they had a week or two ago. And we're seeing just super strong reactions off support in some names that are finally trying to set up now that are super interesting. But the leaders are leading, so it's best to stay focused, on the best charts that you see within the leading groups. And the non-extended stuff, right? Stuff that's extended, I'm still gonna avoid as far as putting on new exposure in those areas, but that's just how I always do it. And especially the top leading names of those specific groups, right? Those are the names I want to focus on. But a lot of those names, I won't lie, are pretty extended. Does that mean that they can't go any higher? No, but it's more so I don't want to be buying extended. I just want to be focusing on the super tight charts and groups that have been acting the best in the last 3 to 6 months. So gonna go over my watches. Gonna keep this pretty short, even though we got a lot to talk about. SanDisk is up in the after hours, as you can see. A nice push, pretty much into 2200, and MU as well. Another one where you're up in the after hour session. A nice push there. So super interesting, right? We're getting a nice gap up in those. Apple starting it off super nice, just higher lows being built right into an inside day. You pretty much get back above your 10 and 20. Yes, this could be a crossback. But to me, I mean, this stock's been in a super nice uptrend. Yeah, it got hit pretty hard when the market pulled back, so definitely iffy being about. But to me, this setup, you get a nice inside day. It looks like to me with a strong market, this thing can push through Friday's high and can be very actionable. And you could even add, Nvidia to this list, like all the Magnificent Seven names, right? You got a nice higher low in the overall trend. You build another mini higher low, and you push out on Friday back above the 50. So this looks great too. Amazon, another one, right? Where you kind of build a super short term higher low here. Where we could probably get this thing started again after nice. This is the first pullback since this massive move up. So to me, I mean, and another one where it's like, there you go, there's your inside week. You get a nice pullback. Kind of find support last week, and then just a stall week of an inside week, and it looks good. You're trying to build a higher low. A push out above Friday's high would be super interesting, or an inside week. Inside day tomorrow. I'll be looking to take this name on some sort of a intraday setup to get entered my stop at the lows, or at the inside day lows. Super interesting. But the reason I bring up these Magnificent Seven names is the Magnificent Seven ETF, right? Your mags, you pull into the 200. You're trying to build a higher low here. You had a super strong rally. You pulled back pretty hard, yeah, but you're back at the 200. You flip to a weekly, same thing, right? They all look the same pretty much. But Apple looks fine. Nvidia looks good. Amazon looks good. Google, one of my favorites, right? It's finally back above the 50 again. You've been building a super nice tight consolidation. You're trying to put in a higher low here. So a push out above Friday's high, I'm super interested, and hopefully this thing can get going, right? A weekly chart looks fine, almost like some sort of a wick play, not really, just like a stalling candle. But either way, you're trying to build a higher low. Can this be it? Can we get an inside day? Can we get that tight, or is this going to be just us pushing above Friday's high? And looks great. But like I said, I think the Mags ETF looks like it definitely could be trying to bottom. Meta, I have absolutely no interest in. And I talked about Amazon, Apple, Nvidia, Google. So those are the other ones. AEHR, super nice, like 3 or 4 day flag here. You gotta get a pullback into your 10-day and 2 days tight under a pivot. So this thing's at all-time highs. And super strong. You're not extended from the 50. You've been consolidating a nice little cut base. It's like a mini cut base. So pushing out above Friday's high would be super interesting on a name like this. If you already own this from the 50, if you bought the pullback to the 50, this is what I meant at the beginning of the video when I talked about how some names a week or two ago were definitely buyable off support, whether that was the 50-day and undercut and rally, specifically like your BE. Everyone loves to talk about this one. The setup was perfect. This should go in everybody's model book for a stock to study, but just textbook undercut and rally setup. And I mean, just the move on Friday, absolutely unreal. So beautiful. And that's the stuff you want to be buying when everyone's talking shit about a bull market, right? In the first and one of the first second pullbacks in the market. AHR looks fine, nice sideways. It's starting to get a little tight here, so it looks interesting. Amazon, I talked about APLD, right? This is going to be your WGMI ETF, which looks fine. Maybe could still be building out the right side of its base, which would be great. But APLD, you get an inside day, you get like a 3 or 4 day flag. You're right under a pivot, and it looks great. And this is another name that's I'm pretty sure that's not an all-time highs, but sitting at 52-week highs. I think Iron is close to all-time highs. Another one in that list where you get an inside day. This to me looks like a bull flag, right? 4-day flag. After a nice move up, you held the 50, you built a higher low off the 50. Can this be that next higher low spot? Looks to me like it very possibly could be. So push above Friday's high, super interesting. APLD, same thing, right? If these names put an inside day off the open and they're getting super tight, or they have like a mini washout and then they start to get above VWAP, give a 620 setup, whatever it may be, that's what I'll be definitely interested in a lot of these names. So I really like this Iron too. I think it looks good, and I can go over that whole group because a few of them still look awesome. Like Galaxy, I think looks great, right? You get a nice flag, 5-day flag and an inside day on Friday, right? See, even on the hourly chart, you can kind of see the flag there. CrowdStrike, moving on to your cybersecurity names, right? The Cyber ETF looks great, right? You're trying to build a higher low here. This low from Friday is like a line in the sand for a higher low. And that can make me bring up Palo Alto, which is already pushing out, right? This is one of the big leaders. FTNT, which debated making the list, looks like a high tight flag, 100% should go on the list. It's over 6 ATRs. I'm still gonna throw it on there, okay? Because I mean, it's a clear high tight flag that's building, and it looks great. And you just put in a nice reversal candle, so a push above Friday's high. Same thing. A lot of these are just a push above Friday's high, or some morning washout for an inside day on a lot of these, and then just for these names to get going towards the end of the day would be super interesting. That's definitely what I'm going to pay attention to. These charts look explosive, like we're going to get going in the morning, or just sometime tomorrow, with the way that these names look, or just staying above this pivot that we built from Friday. It would be super interesting in a lot of these, right? Cisco is another one where you're holding your 20-day. Okta, this name, if you were ready and prepared to buy a name as a pullback into support, you could see perfect support gap, undercut and rally, or just a reversal right off that area, and a massive reaction. That's absolutely beautiful. RBRK, another cybersecurity name. It looks really great. You get a pullback, you get a massive move up, you're back above the 200, you're trying to establish yourself above there. We've kind of been sideways holding the 200, and you get a super big reversal candle. So you could buy this through Friday's high and risk low of day, or put your stop to the low of this candle. But either way, super nice candle. The cybersecurity group looks great. Frog is also on that list. You get a nice flag into the 20-day, right? Nice little consolidation and an inside day on Friday. Wouldn't be surprised to see this one pushing out tomorrow early. But I think CrowdStrike looks so good. Super nice sideways. I tried to buy this name like 2 or 3 times last week. And it just kind of chopped me up. The market just wanted to consolidate during that super short week, but this is the best action ever for that super short week. So CrowdStrike looks great above Friday's high. DDOG, right? This thing I think is at all-time highs. So and you just powered out of a massive base from that earnings gap up, which was a perfect high volume close setup. Made a massive move. This is your first real pullback. You get an undercut rally of the prior lows and a nice reversal candle. So push through the 20-day or Friday's high. Super interested. This is one of the top ideas for sure for me. I really like this DDOG and CrowdStrike as well. I think they look great. And Frog is right there. But I definitely think this one was viable off the 20-day. But that doesn't mean it's not done yet. It still looks good for some sort of a momentum setup. But DDOG just looks so good. If you got this as an undercut and rally on Friday, great work. Same thing with Crowd. Like just buying it off the 20-day. In this area of support at like 669. You undercut and rallied it, or you just undercut it and rally back through it like 2 or 3 times. So super important area, obviously the 20-day pretty much. So nice consolidation just to push through this little pivot area, which is just Friday's high for me. Super interested in getting along this name. GH, I own this name already from Thursday, and you still got a nice flat base. You're building a nice flag. The weekly looks fine. Just to push out of this flag would be super interesting. Maybe I'll consider adding to this position. It's a genomics name. You got Twist acting great. ArcG looks awesome. TXG, some of the leaders look great. So just continue to keep an eye on these names, right? They're building cups. Can they build their little mini flags on the right-hand side? Would be super interesting. But GH looks great. Google I talked about. I think Google, DDOG, CrowdStrike, some of my favorite setups for sure. And Amazon, like getting these names as they're finally pulling back. Even though this name has been hit pretty hard, super interesting for sure. I already talked about Rock Lab. I debated putting this name on here, but you hold the 50, super nice reversal candle. You held above that big kill bars lows. Are we trying to build a bear flag, or is this a higher low here and we're going to push above Friday's high, put an inside day, whatever. The weekly chart, I mean, you pull back to the prior weekly all-time high pivot, you hold it and you put in an inside week. So I don't know. I think it looks great, and I think any type of movement in here and then a push out above Friday's high is going to be super interesting. Getting back above the 10 and 20 is what this name really needs to do. So it's been building some sort of little like like wedge down here into the 50, and we're really trying to hold it. So it's be super interested to see if this name I finally push out. Right, you got SpaceX, another one where you try to come perfectly. You know, it almost comes into the gap. Right, it was so close. It did pretty much come right into the IPO days highs. And had a really big washout into there, and they got bought up pretty fast. 175-ish area, 176, whatever, and just push out. So not a bad candle here on the daily either, right? You could see a push above Friday's high, and this could be a pivot, and you got a higher low, the first higher low for SpaceX. Super interested for sure. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this name every day, but I would like some more price history and a real setup to develop, but definitely going to be watching for an IPO base with in a few weeks, or whatever this name can bring. UMAC, right? This is another name where it's very possible it could be in a vacuum, so definitely want to be careful. But you got a nice setup. Another one where you got an inside week, super massive move up. I think the highest volume ever, or highest volume in a year. And you're holding the gap, right? You're back above the gap pretty much, the gap low, or the open of the gap. And a nice reversal candle off, which I think that's, prior all-time. And this is another name where you're sitting right at all-time highs. So is it a bear flag here, or is it just trying to build a consolidation to then push up above Friday's high, which is where I'll definitely be interested in taking this name. So I think it looks really good. Nice sideways consolidation. But, a lot of people come down here and be like, you get a move down and you're building a bear flag. So who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised, because the group is not very strong, right? As far as your drone names, right? ONDS, not the best look. Can it bounce here? I'd like to see that for sure. And there's so many other names that I'm not going to go through because the group just doesn't deserve it. But definitely would like to see this name give an inside day, get super tight, and maybe I can look to be buying it with some tight risk. Definitely could have been bought on Friday. As you can see, you get a nice undercut and rally of that prior high I talked about. It gave a nice spot to risk off of, and you got a super strong 4% push into that close. So the Magnificent Seven looks good. I talked about the WGMI, your data centers, continue to keep an eye on this name as they're building their new base. The Cyber I talked about, I think looks great. IGV, I didn't quite go over this. I'm going to go over it super quick. We got Palo Alto in this group. You pull back to the base, right? You get your pivot from March 2nd, come into it again, and then we broke out of it. Massive move. Right, pretty euphoric 3 days this name had, and then it's been a massive pullback. But nice reversal candle off that area. You could risk right off of that Friday high for a push through that. So super interested in IGV. Can it get back above the 200, or can it get back above Friday's high, then the 50-day, then it's 10 and 20, and then maybe the 200. So it's got a lot of work to do. Didn't put it on the list specifically for that reason. You got Oracle in there, right, which kind of got hit pretty hard. Microsoft got absolutely destroyed. So not my favorite, but definitely an interesting candle from Friday, and definitely could be a spot to risk on if you like buying stocks below their moving averages. I personally don't. I'd rather see this name get above at least its 50, 10, and 20 to at least, in here I was buying it for sure when it was above those, and I definitely caught this big move. So interested for sure. I'm probably going to cut it there. I don't want to leave this video go on too long, but that's pretty much everything. Real fast, actually, I did think ARK looks pretty interesting, right? You got a super nice base that you've been building for a while. You're back above the 200, 4 days above. You get an inside day on your Friday's action, right? The weekly looks all right. You're just building a base. That's the only thing interesting to me. Tesla, one of the names I'll talk about here. Another one where it's like, okay, Magnificent Seven. Can it build a higher low here with this big lower wick candle, push above Friday's high, get a big up day, get back through that? I think this is the 2020 highs I have marked, which is a super important level that we've just been stuck below. So it's got a lot of work to do, but Hood has been a monster. SpaceX is finally public, obviously, and that's one of her top holdings, I'm pretty sure. So that one's obviously the great. Hood, though, this name has been so good, and obviously she owns AMD. So nice base building on this one, but it's another one where it's like, okay, it's only 5 HRs 50. I'd like to see a base continue to build here on AMD. It looks like it's building a high type flag. Either way, It looks to me like ARC probably can get a pushing out of this base. So it's interesting. It's interesting to keep an eye on those holdings and the Magnificent Seven and things like that. Stuff that's gotten hit pretty hard. Stuff that looks possibly like it's just setting up again, like your CrowdStrike, your cybersecurity, and things like that. I appreciate you all for watching. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.